let's just begin the background music. Alrighty then, so, welcome to the stream, everyone. Today I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different from what I've done in the past. Well, first things first, I'll say I do have a bit of a blinding light behind me, and I don't really have anything that I can use to block it right now, but, long story short, we shut off our air conditioning the other day in my house. And so, it's gotten very hot. So, you might end up hearing some fans running in the background. That's actually why this curtain is now open, because I've got a fan sitting in my window right here blowing air from another open window across the room to try and, like, circulate the cool air from behind my house into the room and then get rid of the hot air out the other side of the house. But that's, you know, we'll have to work with that. Anyways, so today we're gonna be doing some more Gilfest farming. But on the side of that, I am going to be attempting to program a few farming aids for Fate Grand Order as well. Because, you know, farming, it's very, very boring and monotonous. And, you know, I like to do very crazy creative things. So, not really crazy creative, but you know what I mean. I like to be more active than that. And so, today, I am going to be trying to work a little bit, like, if I can, before I end up getting inevitably bored of the programming part. Just try to do something that will make farming a little bit easier. Now, I know there is a bot program out there already that basically you can... Hang on, I gotta turn down the music. It's over... It's making it hard to think, which is actually very fitting given that the playlist is No Thoughts, Empty Head. But so anyways, shit, what the hell was I gonna say? Anyways. So yeah, there is a bot already that exists for the game, and it is essentially like you install it, you have to install another app, you run the script through it, and then it'll play the game for you, like capturing things, and then it'll be like, yeah, you want this support, we got that support, we'll use these skills, etc. This is an effective card, this is a weak card, so we'll use the effective card to, like, it's a very good script, and I love a lot of the stuff that it does. However, the issue is that the app you need to run it doesn't play so well with something like, say, BlueStacks, if you want to play the game on your PC. And so I'm going to be trying to recreate some of the functionality of that script, while also just essentially rebuilding it from the ground up, so that way I have a good idea of what's actually being done in the background. You know, for my own sanity, because I like to know how things work. It's pretty nice knowing, like, how to pick things apart. And so I'm just gonna be basically making my own version of that script from the ground up, and I already did actually, get part of it working pretty well. And I think I can just show you guys right now. I guess that we might as well open with this, since I wanted to go to it anyways. So this right here, this is the first script that I made for this. And as you can see, it's not the largest thing. But I can just try and demonstrate how this works a little bit. So this right here, this is just a script to roll in the friend point gacha, actually. And so if I just demonstrate that real quick. Basically, you can see right here, this is just all the code, and I can go over what it all does and what it means very briefly in the future. like right after I run it once. But so I'm just gonna swap over the screen capture to just BlueStacks real quick. And so anyways, this is the friend point summon screen, and actually I haven't really tested it with the free friend point summon. Let's just see. I'm gonna set it to let's say we set it to do 3. So basically, like the thing that you have to set before you run the script, it'll ask you how many times you want to roll. And it'll keep rolling for that number of times. I was thinking of making it, like, roll an infinite number of times as well. Like, if I were to just, give it, like, you know, a relatively, like, insane number. Like, roll -1 times. Like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. But anyways, let's run it and let's see if it works. Yeah, so it didn't work, because it couldn't find the proper button. And, it's actually very interesting. So I gotta roll 1 time on my own. But so, something interesting that I found is that, pretty much every part, I didn't really even pay attention to it, but almost every single part of the interface is transparent. Like, you can kind of see, like, Matahari's, leg poking through this button here, and you can also see part of the card as well. Actually, hang on. I want to make sure you can see my cursor as well, yeah? Yeah, okay, you can see what I'm gesturing at, so that's good at least. And so, pretty much everything on this UI is transparent. Even when you click on this, like, it might not even look at all that much, but this entire thing is still transparent partially. So, like, any moving parts, like, you can see these, like, particles that are coming out of the bottom, and, like, all these moving, like, magical circuits and whatnot. They screw with image recognition pretty badly. And so anything that's even a fraction off, can mess it up very, very greatly. But anyways, since the button is now in this place, it will work, because that's where I took the original screenshot. I might make another one that will, click it if it is, in a different area. But so anyways, I'm just gonna run this, and then we'll see what happens. So it should work now. And so it's going. I will say I'm hands-free. I have no hands on the, machine. And so it's rolling again, as intended. This is the second roll. And then the little error noise is just, I've got a little message box that pops up saying that it's reached the limit of what I set it to. And so it works for what it is. It's pretty good for what it does as well. But the issue I have is because of the way I made this, I took the screenshots, and I guess I can try to fix it. It doesn't handle the window if it's not sized exactly how it was when I took the screenshots. And so I'll swap back over to the other monitor real quick, and I'll kind of go over the code just a teeny bit so people can understand what was happening. So right at the top, I've got the limit, like gotcha limit. That's what is going to be saved or like looked at for the limit on how many rolls to do. And then I also have this state variable as well, and basically this is just going to track where the script is. And then I have a few other things like action delay. What is the base delay that I want to have in between, like, clicking on different parts of the image, like on the screen, because, you know, it does have a bit of a delay, especially when it's loading between screens. So I set it to like 350 milliseconds. I've fiddled around with the numbers just a teeny bit, simply because I have been, you know, messing around with, like, what's the most efficient way and, like, most efficient timing based on my machine. And then I had, like, a few other things that I was going to try out, and then I realized how much they'd screw some things up if I did try to implement them as they are right now. For example, these are the sizes of the screenshots that I have for images to look for on screen. So, like, the buttons, and whatnot. The only issue is that, and then I like have the scale of what the images were originally taken at, and I was going to use that to basically resize the images for scanning the screen for them, to like look for, is this on the screen? Click it. Basically, the issue with this is that they're such a weird number as they sit right now, like 42 by 76 for one of the images, and I'm pretty sure these other two right here, I guarantee those are not the right sizes, and I just put those in as placeholders. I also meant to put these little colons. Same with these. But so in any event, those obviously not going to work. I need to get like different size screenshots before those will work effectively. And then I also skipped over but wait time. So in essence, like, if the script can't find something, it will wait for a predetermined amount of time before it tries again. And so that's what this is. This calculates, like, based on how many times I want it to check for the state to be, like, the proper, like, picture. And the actual total timeout time. So what I have it set to right now is I have it set 60,000 milliseconds or 60 seconds is the timeout. So if it can't identify where it is in the script by the time 60 seconds have passed, it'll just exit the script. And then I have this wait limit, which is this is how many times in that 60 seconds it'll check, and it's going to check 3,000 times. And of course, these aren't going to be exact numbers, but, like, it's going to be roughly around, like, 60 seconds, maybe at most 90 seconds if the script lags a little bit, but, like, an extra half minute isn't really going to be that big of an issue. Of course, if it were much larger numbers, it would make a huge difference. And so, like, I have, like, a few other things for my own sake. Like, I have this right here. This was to set up, like, a little logging function, so, like, you can see in the bottom, it shows exactly what the state is. Like, I've got a little log window that's, like, showing me after the script's completed, starting at state 0, which is the normal summon screen. Anyways, while I'm going over this, I can just go back to farming anyways. Need a waiver. Come on, give me a waiver. My Scotty is still not up to par to do double Scotty right now. I need a few more Aurora Steel before I'm able to actually use my Scotty to her full potential. This is the fun part. Trying to look for a support. But so this is my farming team. I showed this off in one of the Discords that I'm part of for, you know, Fate Grand Order related stuff. And it works. It's pretty much consistent 3-turn every single time. And if it isn't, then, you know, it's just a very quick 1-card slap will finish off the remaining boss if she somehow survives because of, you know, being neutral class advantage. But so the basis for this team is we just use a rash. I realize it's on a small screen now, so I'm gesturing and it's going to be very difficult to see. But we use a rash, and he NPs twice on waves 2 and 3, and it just clears everything, and it's fucking fantastic. 100%. I love it. And I have a little macro that basically, the macro does pretty much everything that I want. I don't know if it's showing up on screen right now. Is it? It is. So basically, this is like my little macro window, and I've got like one for automatically like spamming the lottery, a few for like when I was fiddling around with Lancelot now that my Scotty's got her skills leveled up a bit more. But then I have this one, and this one, basically all this does is this handles farming with this team comp very specifically, and it'll press on the various parts of the screen automatically, so I don't have to, and that way, like, every minute and a half, I can, or like every 2 minutes, I just come back and double check on it. But so anyways, basically, yeah, like I've got a log, like, telling me what state the game thinks it's in. So that way, I know And actually, hang on, I just had an idea, because that does... Image mask, no, it doesn't seem like that's anything I can do. Can I add just a flat color? No, I can't. Okay. So, what I was gonna try and do is... Oh, wait, color source. This would be nice. If I just make this, like, say... I'll make it, like, red. So, basically, I just want to put something behind... I want to put something behind the BlueStack stream, so that way it doesn't blend in quite so well with, the coding window. And actually, why is this locked to be... Hang on a sec. Width, 400. So hang on. This is going to be... Let's say I made this 1920, 1080, and then I just resize it, because then that's going to be the correct aspect ratio, which is really what I need. I don't really feel like doing the calculation myself right now. There we go. That's a little bit better. I'm just going to move it over very slightly. Ah, that's good enough. Anyways, so yeah, basically this is just going to tell me, like, for purposes of, like, debugging the code, I know exactly where the script is at any given time. And so that's what that was for, and it also tells me, like, how long it thinks it's waited for so far in the script. And as you can see, it's going up by quite a large number, rather than just going up by one, and that's because of something else that I put into the script later. Anyways, moving on down, what I set up is, like, I have some other functions I imported, just because, the thing that I'm using right now, basically, the programming language I'm using is not a specific language. It's actually, something called AutoHotkey, and so it's a scripting language. And it's meant to be used for, like, games and whatnot that you would basically, like, use to kind of, like, macro things in for, like, an MMO or something, or, like, if you have a very specific, like, timing you want to get for, like, landing combos and different games. And so basically, I'm using this because it has a lot of useful tools built in already, rather than having to make them myself. Again, if I were to have something like, say, Python. Because again, I like to know how things work. And so I have a general idea of how this program works, like how this scripting language works, simply because, you know, I've used it before on more than one occasion. Although for very stupid things, like, I want an auto clicker, you know, but, like, I want the auto clicker to be able to do this, and so I programmed it for purposes like that. So anyways, it, like, right at the start of the script, it searches for an image, and the image is going to be the 10 times summon icon that's, like, on the home screen for the gacha banners. So, like, you've got your standard single summon and then your 10 times summons buttons. And so what I end up doing is I end up telling it to look for the big 10 times button. And then it checks if error level being, like, if the image isn't actually, you know, as long as the image is found, this will at least be one or more. Like, because if the image is found, error level is 0, and then you invert that, that becomes 1, so then that's true statement. Then it'll say, I'm in the first state, so let's set it to that one, and then, it doesn't really need to do anything else, but I just set it to, like, move the mouse to the coordinates of the button. And then, if it's not in that state, then it looks for a different button, and that would be, like, the post-roll results screen. It looks for the 10 times button in the bottom right. And then it does the same thing. If it can find that, then it'll set itself to a different state. Otherwise, the last thing it'll do is it'll say, it'll like pop up a little warning box that says there's no like 10 times button on the screen, so I'm gonna stop the script, and it just exits. And so after it has the initial state figured out, what it does is it goes into this while loop, and this while loop will continually tick up as many times as we actually perform our 10 times rolls. And so it'll say, like, what's the current state. It'll activate the blue stacks window so that way it knows it's in focus. So unfortunately, this does kind of take over your computer while it's running, but I do have a failsafe button, like, programmed in, so that way if you want to stop it before it's done, you can. And so essentially, while the current number of rolls is less than the maximum number of rolls that you want to perform, it'll keep doing this. And so that number of rolls that you've performed will only go up after it has hit the button to confirm the actual rolling. So like the first state, which is when you're in the home page, like the gotcha banner, and I tried to like label these as best as I could, but like it's really just me using this right now, so I'm not too worried about the commentation. And so like I tried to comment things where appropriate, but like for my own sanity, but not for other people's. So like same thing here. This is gonna look for the same button again. It's just gonna make sure it's still there, like the 10 times summon button. And if it's there, click on it. Reset the wait counter, which is like that's how many times it's had to wait, like that wait period that was calculated, since it was last able to like do something. And so it resets the wait counter, clicks on the button, and then sets its state to the next one, which is to like check that like the confirm thing. That's like, you want to roll, do you have your burn settings set appropriately, all that stuff. And then it waits for a very small period of time before thinking about doing anything else, simply because you know, I want to make sure it's not going to go faster than the game can handle. However, if it can't find the image, then what it does is it'll increment that wait counter and then wait for whatever the wait time was. So it'll say, oh, well, I can't find it, I'm just going to try again. And then if it hits that limit of like 60 seconds that it's currently set to, it will have also incremented the wait counter to be above what the allowable limit is. And so essentially, like, that is right down here at the end of the loop. It says if the wait count is greater than or equal to the wait limit, then it will break the loop, and then it'll go outside and then like tell you the reason for why it broke the loop. It'll say, oh well, I timed out. And so that's that whole portion. The second state, confirmation state, it does the same thing. It looks for the image, except it's looking for the confirm button, like the OK, like begin rolling. And if it can find it, it resets the wait count again, clicks the button, increments the count of how many rolls have been performed, and then changes the state to the next one, which is when it's rolling. And so I set it to go to that next state, and roughly the same shit. And now if it couldn't find the confirmation button, like if it's not in the exact area it's supposed to be, it won't identify it, because the image, it has to be the exact setup. And like, yeah, you can have it vary by a couple of pixel colors or whatnot, and like that's what this little star number 2 here is. Like basically this is like a little command that's saying, this image that I have, like this image that I have right up here, sorry, I was on the wrong line. It has to be that image, or at least be within 2 colors of each pixel for that image. And then like you can do the same thing to resize the image and whatnot, but that's gonna take a little bit of extra work. making sure that the images are resizable with like proper aspect ratios. And so if it doesn't find it, then it will look for a different button, and that is the cancel rolls button that pops up whenever your inventory becomes full, because it always pops up that confirmation dialogue, but it's either going to say, do you want to roll, or do you want to cancel because your inventory is full? And if it pops up with that, it's going to have a very distinct coloration, distinct transparency that the image search function can recognize. And so that's what this part is for. And if it finds that, it'll end the loop and then time out the rest of the, like, it'll end the loop and then skip over the rest of the code and go to the end saying, oh, your inventory's full, can't keep rolling. And then over here, we have, just again, like, otherwise, if nothing else was matched, then we just, like, increment the weight counter. In the roll state, this is a little bit of an interesting one. So what I did was, I have it wait a few seconds before it actually rolls or does anything, because in essence, it does take a quick second before it begins rolling and starts detecting the input from clicks to try and skip the rolls. And so what it does here is, in essence, it will wait like 5 times whatever I set the wait delay for, like the general action delay, and then it will find a spot that I know for a fact is going to be empty. And it's going to move the mouse over to there, and it's like at 1/10 of the size of the screen or whatever is what I know is going to be empty, because you always end up with like, you've got like 6 on top and then 4 on bottom for your display afterwards. And so then it will essentially wait and then click over there, and I had to make a custom function to actually click things properly, because for some reason there is the built-in function to click stuff, and you'll see it all else around. Like, I've got mouse click, left, X chord, Y chord, and that works, honestly. It works really well. But the problem is, when trying to repeatedly click over here, it just didn't work the right way. And so what I did was I created a different function that essentially, it'll call the built-in one, but it'll call it with a set choice of parameters that I decide on. And so, like, it'll click with a certain button, which by default it's left, so like I can just leave that parameter blank. And then this is the X coordinate, this is the Y coordinate, this is the number of times I want it to click in rapid succession, this is the delay between each click. So like it waits that much before clicking a certain number of times. And so I think it's a very like nice solution to make sure that, like, I know that the function works, so this line of code should always work. And so, like, I tried to do something similar here, like, I was trying to, like, have it do it multiple times. And then I just, basically, I have it click in a few random locations, so that way, like, I know for certain that it's going to be getting unique taps. And so, like, that's why I've got this random int, and then it's going to add or subtract 20 pixels from where it's clicking. And so, it's very, very good at what it does, basically. And so then it's going to do the same thing, except it's going to look for the results screen, like 10 times summon button. And if it can't find that, it's going to assume it's still in the roll state. And so it'll wait, and then try to tap on it again. And so by tapping on it again, it will hopefully, like, you know, end the roll early, like, skip over the rest of them, so that way it's, it isn't going to have to keep waiting to find the result screen. And then, basically, it's gonna keep ticking up the weight count as it was before, except now I have a little fancy function here And so essentially what this is doing is it's finding, well, so first of all, it's gonna add 1 every single time, right? But then this all in here, this is gonna be added to the normal, like, 1 increment of the weight counter. And what this is doing is it's basically finding how many times would it have waited to get the same amount of time waited using the, using, like, the action delay, basically. Because, like, I have it waiting up here, and then I also have, like, a small delay in between different clicks up here for the clicking. And so, basically, it's taking that into account, and then it increments the weight counter by an additional number based on that. And then, again, it does actually wait normally. But then the continue state, it comes down here. It looks for the 10 times summon button in the bottom right, like the continue button. And then it just does the same thing again, and it loops. It keeps looping, and then it checks, is the weight count greater than the weight limit? No. Perfect. Down at the bottom, this is just some additional stuff that I programmed for, like, you know, debugging purposes again. So, like, these pop up little message boxes on screen that you can interact with in the middle of the script. And so it'll say if the count was, like, if the gacha limit was reached, then it'll tell you that the roll limit was reached, and that's why it's stopping the script. Otherwise, if it has a certain timeout code, like I programmed that in, it'll say, oh, you have a full inventory, so I can't keep rolling. Otherwise, it's just going to say the script timed out, because there's no other reason why the script would have reached that point, if not for it timing out. Unless there is also this little beauty at the bottom. So this is the failsafe command. Basically, as long as I press, oh, hi bro, can you add me? Oh yeah, of course, I can add you. Hang on a sec. I've got plenty of slots to add people now too. I just cleaned up some of the inactive players on my list. Give me a sec. But so yeah, welcome to the stream. Play every day? Nice, nice. Yeah, I try to play every day too. It's, I feel personally, hang on, I'm gonna swap over so it's not like, created the account 2 days ago. Oh, well, welcome to a very interesting community, I'll say. It's a very interesting community. So let's see, user search. I gotta get this on screen. Ah, and you got a nice Gilgamesh there, too. But yeah, so, hey, listen, because you asked nicely, my servants are your servants. I will just show you right now. I've got a pretty decent setup for support, so, like, this is what I have set up for the event that's going on. Although, you still need to have cleared the prologue to use it. But, you know, otherwise, you're more than free to be able to use all of these. Yeah, I can show my servants a little bit. So, like, these are the ones that I typically have set up as my support servants. And not all of them are gems, I'll admit, but, like, I have them more set up for support purposes. So, like, Merlin here, he is my pride and joy. I'm very proud of him. One of the greatest support servants, if not the greatest. I'm a big fan of the Buster memes, though. Otherwise, I have, like, a couple of damage dealers here in my my Rider and Assassin slot. A couple of different servants to... Who's the best class in start game? Well, in the start, I'll kind of, like, give you the full list, like the Spirit Origin list, and I can kind of, like, give you a all-right-ish rundown, I guess. I want to get friend points from all. Well, so, I'll be honest. Until you start getting, like, your servants all max leveled, you won't really have too many people using them. Yeah, so if you want some, like, I can show you, like, some of the better lower rarity servants that are pretty good to use. Hang on, I gotta filter this stuff out. So, like, a couple of choice picks for, like, the lower rarity servants, which you'll get without using, really, Saint Quartz. First of all, Kukulane, right here. He is the best dog. And so he's actually a 3-star, despite being gold right now, and that's because I did some, you know, special gifting to him. And essentially, he is he's pretty much the greatest tank in the game. He can dish out a lot of damage. He can outright negate all damage for 3 separate attacks with, like, no limit to it. And he's all around generally a good servant. High single target damage. So, like, if you're looking for someone low rarity to, like, be a survivalist in, like, solo things, if you really are struggling, he's a good choice. Otherwise, early game, you'll want, like, a good single target assassin. So, one of them, I haven't leveled mine up, personally, because I never really had trouble with assassins, like, getting an assassin. Sasaki Kojiro here, he is, the real legend. He's actually a dragon slayer. Well, once you get to the first chapter of the game, he's a dragon slayer because he was one of the only assassins available at the start of the game. You got 100 faces, or yeah, 100 faces is real good as well. So like I still haven't leveled up my 100 face Hassan, and I don't even think I actually have her in my normal inventory right now, but she's a very strong assassin for the same purposes. Like, basically, you want to make sure you have an assassin for the early game because you'll run into a lot of rider servants. And so in order to get the class advantage on them, you need an assassin. And so, like, any of the Hassans, so, like, we've got Hassan of Serenity, we've got Hassan of the Cursed Arm, we have Kotaro here. They're all great assassins. Like, honestly, there's really no bad servants. So, like, just have, like, one good character that you enjoy using in each class. In the start, you need more single-target servants. I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you have single-target or not. AoE servants are actually pretty strong early on because enemies have so little health compared to later on that you can just burst them with any AoE servant. So, like, I forget if 100 Faces is actually AoE or not, because I don't really use her. But, she's alright, I guess, is what I can say. Yeah, she's single target? Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, she's more than capable of filling, like, your niche if you need it. There's like, basically, you can kind of think of this like your standard, you can think of it like your standard sort of, RPG. You want, like, your support, you want some kind of a tank, and then you want a damage dealer. You could set up your teams roughly based on that idea, or you can just set up all supports and then a damage dealer, and then just buff your damage dealer to all hell, which also works. And so, like, pretty much, it's at least it's the way I play. Generally, it's good to have a team specialized towards one thing. Like, do you want it like centered around a specific servant? Do you want it centered around a, like, survival ability, in which case all the Kukulane variants, very strong. They all have the same ability, which is 3-hit evasion, and that is a very strong ability indeed. You could have, like, do you want to spam your Noble Phantasms, Medea, Paracelsus, all sorts of arts-based characters are capable of spamming their Noble Phantasms. 100 Faces is also really good at doing that too, for that matter. It's a very nicely known strategy that you can use for, like, some bosses. Just looping with 100 Face Hassan is very good. And so, but anyways, I'm getting off topic. Early on, up Paracelsus and Mozart. Yeah, those are good. Those are two good picks, actually. Mozart, great support for the arts, and then Paracelsus, actually like the poster child for art supports, next to Tamamo, who's like the 5-star art support. And essentially, the reason is because once you unlock like the upgraded version of his 3rd skill, he can help people use their noble phantasms much more readily, who are good from sabers and berserkers. So sabers and berserkers, sabers are kind of a mixed bunch, all things considered. You have a lot of different sabers, and not all of them are gems. One of my favorites that is a lower rarity, I actually don't think I really have a favorite low rarity saber, but for a berserker, easily Lu Bu right here. So he's a single target berserker, and he can put out quite a bit of damage, and the best thing about him as well, he's got 3 buster cards, so having multiple buster cards makes it easier to get buster chains, which is for the big, you know, smack him in the face damage. And so that's kind of what I tended towards when I first started. Like, red card is good, and I still kind of do that in some cases. For sabers, though, like, I guess I could try to give you a few good suggestions, even if I don't use them. No, you can't really use Bedivere. He's actually story-locked, but, Bedivere's a good... Bedivere's a pretty good, saber. He's a really nice, like, single-target damage dealer, and, he can do a hefty amount of damage. He does have a little bit of support where he can, like, increase, your ally's Noble Phantasm strength, which is a very rare buff in and of itself. Like, not too many people actually have it. So when you can get it, it is very good to make use of it. Otherwise, do I seriously not have any other sabers right here? Maybe it's in my second archive. Oh yeah, Fergus is another one if you're looking for, like, an AoE saber. Caesar is okay. Yeah, Caesar's pretty good too, actually. I don't have problems with Caesar. He's a good support servant. I just, like, look at what they did to the Emperor of Rome. Like, seriously, what did they do to this man? I mean, granted, he realistically would have been a large, jolly boy, probably. You know, being a nobleman and whatnot. But so, like... Yeah, exactly. That was my first thought when I saw him. It's funny. But so, like, a good thing about Caesar is he has this buff once you get into his first ascension called Charisma. And so Charisma, it's just attack up, like, it's a raw damage boost. And so that affects everyone on your team, not just him. So if you have him in your front line, he's a really nice, like, saber support, and then he has the same buff that Bedivere has, in that he can boost allies' Noble Phantasm strength. So pretty good is, like, if you want, like, a sort of supportish saber. And then I forget, yeah, his Noble Phantasm is another, like, good single target one, and it generates a lot of crit stars once you use it. So it's pretty good, all things considered. Like, I just don't use them because, you know, I've got, like, 4-star and 5-star sabers that I'd rather use. And then, there's my 100 faces right there. But, as I gotta say with all servants, there are no bad servants except Ben K, in which case, he's a bad servant. No. He's got his niche, but it's not a good niche. And so, like, otherwise, what's another class that I haven't really covered? I guess, like, low rarity riders is one that I haven't covered. And I guess in terms of low rarity riders, Alexander, actually, and he was someone that carried me a little bit earlier on through the game until I, you know, started getting all my, like, gold servants. You got a 4-star rider. Oh, nice. Nice. Shit. I'm trying to figure out if that would have been... Viva la... Oh, yes. I love it. I love Marie. She's so good. I love her. Oh god, hang on. I have too many faux crystals. I need to filter those out. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to see anything. Let's see. I forget, did I get her that early on? No, I didn't really get her that early on, I don't think. I don't know why I can't see her somewhere. Oh, wait, no, I just saw her right as I close it. But anyways. So yeah, Marie, very good. Yeah, George is honestly the strongest low rarity rider. Like, he's got such a good kit based around tanking. Am I playing one more year? Or have I played more than 1 year? Yeah, I've played more than 1 year. Basically, I'll give you, like, actually, hang on. I can go just look at my, my room to see exactly when I started. Wait, I forget. Does it show your exact start date? Where is it? Yeah, I got a lot of gold servants, but I'm also like a kind of semi-whale. I'm not exactly a dolphin. But yeah, I've played for more than 2 years. That's for certain. I definitely didn't play since the start of the game. I started like a little bit after the first few events were already finished. So like towards the end of the first chapter of the game. Oh yeah, it's 2 days until my birthday too. Oh yeah, actually, that's right. That's right. Thank you for pointing that out. I can look at when I got MASH. So MASH, always get her for day 1. I can just look at where I got MASH. Wait, hang on. Here we go. Wait, I shouldn't be looking there. So I got MASH 2017, November 8th. So yeah. I've been playing for almost exactly 3 years at this point. Although, I'll be fully honest when I say I took a very large hiatus at one point or another. Simply because, you know, early on, I had a hard time slogging through the game, I gotta be honest. And it was very difficult, especially on top of school, to be like, yeah, you know, I've got 4 or 5 days to spare to get through this next chapter in the story. And I didn't even finish the story because I just didn't have the time. And so, like, there were a lot of things that were locked out to me. But, eventually, I pushed myself, I tried, I got to the, honestly, the better parts of the story, which are chapters 6 and 7. And I had a blast. It was so much better once I got there. And I hate to say that, like, the earlier chapters are shit. Like, they're good in their own right. It's just, they feel so disjointed. So I just had a hard time getting invested in the game story-wise, let alone gameplay-wise, where it's just let me click red card, because that's all I did. But so yeah, like, I've acquired a lot of gold servants in that time. A lot of them are low battery. I come in on your birthday if you stream. Oh, well, thanks. I'm potentially will be doing a stream that time, and I'll see you too. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. But so yeah. As with all things, I turned to my credit card, as with all things. And, sure enough, I was able to, acquire much gold. No, unfortunately, I did resort to paying quite a bit to get things like NP4, Merlin. Unfortunately, not NP5 because I got shit luck. No, I've actually got great luck. I didn't really pay that much. And that's the real kicker. Like, I actually spent, like, only, like, 3 10-time summons worth of Saint Courts to get NP4 Merlin, and that was funny. But, so, like, essentially, what I want to do for this stream, I'm trying to, like, figure out exactly how I want to create a bot to play the game for, like, farming purposes. Like, doing this, like, I'm not touching the keyboard at all right now. I'm playing in BlueStacks, so, like, I have a keyboard in front of me. but I'm not actually touching any buttons to make the game play itself right now. And this is just being done using a macro, like it's already been told, click here at this time, but it's not doing it intelligently, so like it's occasionally, like if the game lags, it's gonna screw up. And so I want to try and figure out something like that. And so I was kind of going over very briefly how I set up a bot to like roll on the friend point gotcha, like automatically. That way it doesn't, that way like I don't have to sit there and spam it myself. And it does it very well, but like there are a few issues with it. And so like if I were to just swap back over, well actually I'll just talk about it right here while we're just kind of watching this. So like one of the issues with it is like it looks to search for images on the screen. But I found pretty much every part, it doesn't matter what part you look at, like the attack button probably as well for all I know. Everything is transparent. And so for image recognition, it's very difficult if there are like little moving things behind it or like things that I didn't realize. And so if that part changes, suddenly it can't recognize that part. And it's just like, how do I deal with that in programming? And so it's going to be a bit of an issue trying to figure out what to do. Like maybe if I take a lower resolution image where it's not as clear and then just stretch it and then stick it on, then maybe that could work. But like I'll have to work with it when I get there. So like really I don't know exactly I don't know exactly how much programming I'll actually do on this stream, to be honest, because like watching someone type out code is probably less entertaining than watching someone farm using a macro in a mobile game. At the very least, I have a good playlist, I think. This is actually I'm quite happy with this. I found it on YouTube the other day. It's called No Thoughts, Empty Head Nintendo Music. And the thing that caught me the most is it starts up with the Me Channel theme. So like if I were to restart it, it's about to run out. And so I've been listening to this crap like this the entire stream, and it's actually very relaxing. I can't deny it. So I'm just trying to think, what's a good way that I can make this entertaining then? To be honest, so you can say what you want. I mean, honestly, I love Nintendo music, don't get me wrong. Not everything's a gem, though, but, like, Mario, like, especially Odyssey, every song in Odyssey is a friggin' banger. And then, I gotta say the same with Galaxy. Like, I loved Galaxy when I was younger, and now that they have the re-release, I'm just able to relive all the memories of, like, going through those levels, like, jamming out to the songs. And so, I really... Honestly, a lot of the Mario music is fantastic. Like, I think Jolly Roger Bay from 64 is really good. And then, what else are some other good ones? Honestly, the Underground theme, I quite like it. Like, from the original Mario as well. Like, even just the 8-bit, like, noises that comprise it. Like, it's really... It's just kind of like, it's something I could fall asleep to. What else do I actually have on this playlist, though? Because it's not just this. This is one video that's been playing, but, like, I've got other songs. So I've got relaxing Legend of Zelda music, Skyrim music and ambiance night, music and ambiance day, then just Skyrim music and ambiance, fewer thoughts, head emptier, calming Nintendo music mix for the summer. There's a lot of... I have a lot of Nintendo music on here, all things considered, so I can't really say Nintendo music is shit. I wasn't even really saying that, to be honest. I just kind of like... I use crap as like a term for like expressing things when I need a filler word a lot of the time. Like, all that crap, you know? Like... I don't actually mean like something's bad. Sometimes I do, though. Um, shit, though, I really would honestly, now that I'm thinking more about it, it was kind of just like a spontaneous thing, because it was a project I was working on the side. Like, the whole programming a bot to play the game farm, because, like, basically, I addressed it at the start of the stream. There is already a bot out there, but it relies on this really, like, meticulously, like, made and, like, kind of buggy, like, third-party app that you actually have to pay a subscription to even use past 15 minutes. And so it's like, why would I do that when I could try to program, like, my own thing using AutoHotkey instead, like a scripting language on the computer? And so I've been doing that on the side, but, like, yeah, it really doesn't make for good streaming content, so maybe I might do something else on the side. Like, what are some good ideas to, like, keep this entertaining? Otherwise, maybe I could just talk about random shit. Like, I could talk about, like, how I got into Fate and everything. Actually, that might be a good topic, to be honest. So, like, basically, it all started when I was a wee lad, about the age of, fuck if I know, like, 13, 14. And I came across the YouTube channel GR Arcada, or, Glass Reflection as he's just known now. Although it was still in the title, GR for Glass Reflection. And basically, he did a review for Fate Zero, and I actually was quite interested by it. Like, essentially, I started up with anime a little while before that, like, at most maybe 6 months before I got into Fate. And then I see this video because, like, I was looking up, like, oh, where's some good anime to watch? And he had a really good video that I enjoyed all the recommendations out of. And so I just kept going back to his channel, and I still do go back to his channel from time to time, just to, like, look at more stuff that he talks about in relation to anime. And anyways, he talked about Fate Zero, and he said he loves it. However, he wished that his opinion of the Fate franchise was formed off that rather than Fate Stay Night, or something like that. I don't remember the exact context, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, especially when the guy's not here to defend himself. But, like, in essence, he said Fate, like, when he was a lot younger, he enjoyed Fate Stay Night. Like, the original, like, the Dean adaptation. And for people not in the know, Fate Stay Night, the 2006 Dean adaptation, I mean, it's not. For what they had, it's okay. It's okay, and they tried to be creative with it. I can appreciate that. But, by God, CGI Dragon Anus. Oh wait, no, that's Arifureta. Sorry. In other words, there was a CGI dragon. And that was not the best thing. But, other things that really didn't make sense. Even in the context of the show itself. But so, that got me to thinking, like, oh wait, there's one that's even older than Fate Zero. Maybe I should start with that first. And so I start with the original Fate Stay Night, and I'm like, yo, I'm enjoying this. This is interesting. And, like, I was at the stage where I'm not really, like, overthinking anime when I watch it or anything. So I just kind of, like, looked at the show, and I was like, yeah, that was good. Even though I just turned my brain off the entire time. And then this is around the time when I was, like, hyped for Sword Art Online and whatnot. And then I started realizing, oh my god, Kirito's a bad character. Well, he's not bad, but he could use more development, as it were. Before he starts being able to spout off philosophical bullshit. And so, anyways, I was like, yeah, this is good. Now I'm gonna get on with Fate Zero. And I enjoyed Fate Zero even more, and I was like, wow, this is such an upgrade in animation. Like, that shows what 5 years difference will do, or, like, a few years difference will do, because I forget exactly when it was released. I confuse Fate Zero and Steins Gate's release date. I don't know why. It's, like, 2011, 2008. Oh, and this was also a period when I thought no, I don't need to watch Brotherhood. I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I watched the original Full Metal Alchemist. And I'm like, now after I've watched Brotherhood, I'm thinking to myself, boy, was I an idiot. I wasted my time. Or, well, I wasted time that I should have had Brotherhood in my life. Not having Brotherhood in my life. But, so yeah, I got into Fate Zero afterwards. It was a blast. And then I really loved the Fate franchise afterwards. I don't know what it was. I didn't really ever even play any of the games. It just kind of stuck with me. And so every time something new Fate-related came out, like anime-wise, though, I'd watch it. Like, the Unlimited Blade Works movie, when that hit, I watched that instantly. And it was awesome. I really enjoyed watching it, and it gave us this really unique plot twist of, you know, our boy Archer from the original Fate Stay Night. And actually, that's something that I can say that the 2006 adaptation did really well. They gave a grand spotlight to Archer. When he really deserved it. He was staying behind. It's like, all right, bro, you can go have that threesome. I'm gonna hold off Berserker. And he gets to use his Noble Phantasm, which doesn't happen in the route. But at the same time, like, we get to see him be a badass that surprisingly was able to go toe-to-toe with the strongest servant. And so that was really awesome to see. So I give it props for that. But so, like, afterwards, like, yeah, I just watched anything Fate-related as it came out. Eventually, I got into Fate Prisma Elia. And then that sparked my interest in giving Magical Girl shows a chance as well. Like, Fate, it's really broadened my horizons. Not for the good reasons, unfortunately. But it broadened my horizons. And so, really, honestly, it's so... Have I watched Madoka? Yeah, actually. Prisma Elia is what got me interested in watching Madoka, and it took me a while to finally sit down and watch it, but Madoka, I actually got a friend, because we were both planning to watch it. We sat down last year, and we just binged the entire series, and my god. It is... What a clusterfuck. Like, imagine... I don't know if I want to spoil it for anyone else that might watch the VOD of this, but I really did like the art style, like, and the composition, especially when it came to the witches in the show. Simply because, like, it was very, very inspired, I'll say. Like, I like how they had, like, a lot of, like, classical music built in, but then they had, like, this darker shift to it. Yeah, the OST was some of the greatest shit. I actually have that in my normal playlists for, like, whenever I'm gaming. Just to kind of, like, jam out and chill with. And so, like, I put that in to my playlist, but unfortunately I can't use it here because I think Twitch will flag me for that. But what else? Yeah, so Madoka was great. I've still been trying to push myself to watch the movies, but it's kind of like, I still sort of have that mindset that I had with, like, Full Metal Alchemist almost, where, like, oh, why would I watch the remake if I already watched the original? And it's like, but the movies, they have more context to them. I know that for a fact, but it's like, I feel like just skipping the first two movies and going straight to Rebellion, because the first two are a recap of the original series, and Rebellion's an entirely new story. And so, like, I'd love to do that. But I just don't feel that's right either, because it might have, like, additional stuff, and, like, not to mention, it's like saying, I watched the Unlimited Blade Works movie, why should I watch the series? And it's like, well, because the series is so much better. Objectively, the series was better than the movies, although the movie was alright. But, like, the thing that I also need to watch is the new Madoka Magica spin-off show, Magia Record. Um, because I heard from the same friend that I got to watch the original series with. I heard it was really good, and it actually has a few interesting takes on like we've got like an entirely new group, and like there's definitely like a few interesting like twists on like the original like preconceived notions that we were given at the start of the like in the other series rather. And I found that was kind of interesting. So I put it on like my watch list, and I think I showcased my watch list at one point or another on the stream. It's a mess. It's a fucking mess, and I really need to clean it up, honestly. Like, I've got a bunch of shows on there that I haven't even finished, like the God Eater animation. I loved that when it came out. That was another thing that I watched when it first came out, and then it got delayed, and that was my first experience, like, before No Game, No Life, still waiting for Season 2, by the way. That was my first experience, like, oh, great. I've gotta wait to watch the rest of the show? And so... Hang on, I'm just gonna... I want to make this a more accurate title real quick. There we go. I'm changing programming to anime because that's really more relevant to what's actually being done during the stream. But so yeah, like another early show that I watched on like in my anime watching career, I guess, not my career, my life as an anime watcher. I did watch No Game No Life, and that was, I'll be honest, it was not my first ecchi show. I watched shows like High School DxD and what else? I'd watched the first season of High School DxD. I was convinced to watch it, and I'll say it right now, it was at a Bible camp, no less, by another friend of mine, and so, praise be. We were just like sitting on a bus because we like went to a pool every day, and so we took a bus to a different place. Because our campus that we had the camp at didn't have a pool. And so basically we'd just like sit on the bus and then we'd watch High School DxD, and it was funny. It was a good time. What else is there though? So like High School DxD, High School of the Dead as well. High School of the Dead was actually the first one he showed me. And I don't even still have words for that show in general. Like, it was definitely an anime, and you could tell it was an anime. And, you know, I enjoyed it, though. It was still a good time. What are some other good shows that I watched early on? I did watch Sword Art Online, and I enjoyed it. There was definitely a lot going for it, and I got really into the concept of it afterwards. Like, I got really into the concept of basically, like, VR and, like, projecting your consciousness into, like, a computer. Like, more so than I did after I watched The Matrix. Simply because The Matrix was actually terrifying if you saw it. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to put my brain into a computer. Yeah, and like, here's the thing though. The real world probably will be fucking destroyed if that happens. And so like, that was really good. That got me interested in Dot Hack. So I watched like the original Dot Hack sign animation, and that was a trip as well. Soundtrack for that though, fantastic. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to play any of the tracks from it, but it's fantastic. Like, especially, I forget what it is, but like any time that the main character in it was like going through like some shit, he'd like have this really trippy dream sequence, and this one track would play, and it was like this woman's like singing some kind of a hymn or something, and it was just beautiful. Shit, what else do I have? Oh god, that's what I needed to add as well. So my anime list, I'll tell you right now, it does not have every single anime that I've actually watched. Which is sad because, you know, I've watched quite a few anime. Well, it's understandable, I guess, because I assembled it after I started watching anime. But, like, one of the ones I didn't put on was Dot Hack. Specifically, I've only watched, Dot Hack Sign. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, lunch is catching up with me. And so, like, Dot Hack Sign, it's another interesting piece. It's kind of along the same lines as the original Fate Stay Night. It was definitely interesting. But, like, after I look back on it and, like, try to think about it a bit more, it was just kind of bullshit, really. But it kept me entertained, and that's really what anime should do. Like, it didn't make me question it as much as Lost did, like, while watching it. Like, Lost, at one point, I'm just like, why the fuck is this happening? It literally makes no sense, whereas with anime, like, it's a lot easier to turn your brain to a point where it's like, yeah, you know, I can enjoy this. My genuine first anime, though, there were... It's hard really to tell which one was what, but back in the day when I was a wee lad of, like, age, like, 5 or 6, Toonami was a thing. I think it still is, I just don't watch TV anymore. But, basically, Toonami, I'd watch it every single night. And me and my brothers, we all shared a room, but I convinced one of my other brothers to watch Dragon Ball Z with me. And so that would technically be, like, my first anime. But on top of that, like, always after Dragon Ball Z, whenever it was... Oh, and thanks for the follow, King. I appreciate it. Hang on, I have to pronounce the full name. Let's see. King Quazd. King Quazd. The ZS is kind of fucking with me, I'm gonna be honest. But so anyways. No, thanks. Have a good one, my dude. You know? But let's see. So, like, on top of that, like, almost immediately after Dragon Ball, we had Naruto. Naruto was airing around that time as well. Have a nice stream. Do have to go, though. Alright, well, you have a good day, man. Thanks for popping in. It was nice to have you. I think I'll probably just continue the same conversation with myself for, like, all the people that end up watching this, this back later on, if they do. But so, basically, on top of that, fuck, I lost my train of thought. So, yeah, that's right. Naruto came on after Dragon Ball Z. Or, like, they basically came on back to back. And, like, I might have turned the TV on one time expecting to see Dragon Ball Z. And then I saw... Or, like, Dragon Ball. Whichever one was airing at the time. I forget which. I could have sworn it was Dragon Ball Z, though. Because I honestly don't think I ever watched the original Dragon Ball series. Because when I tried to watch it, I genuinely didn't recognize a lot of the shit that went on. Oop, do I have enough yet? No, I need another 7 before my Scotty's at peak. And so basically... I watched Naruto, I liked it, I started watching it more, and then Toonami opened up a wave of different anime, like, later on in the night, like, if I left the TV on, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, I suddenly woke up to Prince of Tennis, and then there was this really trippy, there were a few other trippy shows, I guess, like, One Piece was one that I did try to watch and enjoy, through Toonami for a time, but then I just dropped it, because, you know, I stopped watching TV so late, and I just slept through the entire night, so, like, I never caught it. there was Bobobo. Fuck, what was the full name? It was like Bobobo Bo. There's like a very specific number of syllables there. And so it was about this guy who like went around fighting a bunch of like supernatural people, using magical nose hair that he has for some reason. This was the concept. And so it was kind of crazy. What else is there? Otherwise, and then there was also one called, like, Prince of Tennis was good as well, and it was basically, it was a sports anime, and I don't actually really watch them all that much now. I don't quite even remember what kept me so enthralled with it back when I did watch the show, and it's just kind of, it's interesting to think about. Like, why do I not, well, I don't really hate sports anime, I just don't enjoy them, like, because it's kind of boring. It's like, why would I watch a realistic show when I can watch something that's balls to the wall over the top? It's the same with, like, slice of life shows, although there are some slice of life shows that I have watched and enjoyed. But so, what else is there? Basically, I had, there was another one, Mare, or whatever it is. I don't even know if that's the correct word or whatever it is, like the correct name. But basically, it was this really weird show. It had like this like spiky orange ball thing that kind of looked like the sun, is like a mascot character almost, and he was also like Satan or something, questionably, I don't know. He was able to turn into like this flail that the main character would use. Or some shit, I don't know, I might be confusing two different shows. Oh, another one that I also actually that I liked pretty nicely, Zatch Bell. Zatch Bell was really interesting. It was kind of like freaking Bakugan and Pokemon. Well, no, it was really just Bakugan, before Bakugan was a thing. Like, they basically had, like, these like, super-powered kids that, like, randomly found people, and they had, like, these special books that would make normal people into, like, their master, and then, like, allow them to use super powerful abilities. So, truly, Zatch Bell was actually the first Holy Grail war. Ooh, more steel, more steel. Give me my rainbow steel. I need more. So yeah, there was Zatch Bell, Mare. I know there were a few other ones. I think at one point I tried to watch Bleach when I was younger, because I got a game for my DS. It was like Bleach, the Blade of Fate. And I really enjoyed it. And then I heard, wait, there's a TV show that goes with this? Awesome! And so I just tried to look up, like, when would I watch it? And I just got thrown in the middle of random shit that I had no idea what was going on. So I'm like, how am I supposed to watch this? Like, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea what's going on. How am I supposed to be able to enjoy it? And it was kind of the same with One Piece. Like, I stopped for a few days, and then suddenly I have no idea what the fuck's going on. On the other hand, Dragon Ball, if I stopped for a few weeks, I would still know exactly what's going on, because they drag that shit out. Same with Naruto, once it hit Shippuden. Because, you know, we need to draw out the exact same fight. No, the exact same chase sequence, not even the fight that follows the chase sequence, for 20 episodes. Thank you, Gaara, for being fucking kidnapped as the first arc of Shippuden. And that's what also made me drop the show, because it was too fucking long. Fuck, this music really does make you go brain dead. What else is there, though?